Okay, this is going to be your final exam study guide for algebra. Number 1, it says evaluate m squared plus m times n times p if m equals 3, n equals 4, and p equals 7. So what you're going to do is you're actually just going to plug in each of the values into the letter, or for the letters, and you're going to get 93. On number 2, it says write a verbal expression for 3n minus 8. And the actual verbal expression here that they're looking for is 8 less than the product of 3 and n. I'm actually going to go through the answers on this review. I have all the work completed, so what I'll do is I'll show you each piece of paper of the work. You can pause the video, you can look at the work and see how we went through and got the answer. So you have the answers plus the work, okay? And we'll do that here in just a second. Number 3, it says evaluate 3 times 16 minus 9 plus 12 divided by 3. The answer is 25. Number 4, find the solution of 3n minus 13 equals 38 if the replacement set is 12, 14, 15, 17, and 18. What they wanted you to do is they wanted you to plug in a 12. Well, 3 times 12 is what?
36.
Minus 13, is that going to give you 38? No, so it's not a solution. So the only one that is a solution is 17. So they're wanting you to plug each one of these values in for n until you get 38 on the other side, and 17 is the only one who does that. Number 5, it says find the solution set for 4x minus 10 is less than or equal to 14 if the replacement set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. What you do is you plug them in. Well, 1 times 4 is 4, minus 10 is going to be less than or equal to 14. So the actual solution set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because 7 times 4 is what? 7 times 4? Okay. 28 minus 10 is 18, right? So that is not less than or equal to 14. So the last number in that solution set is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're plugging each one in to make that inequality true. Okay, evaluate the next expression, and the answer is going to be 16. Now remember, on the test, you can type it in the calculator just as you see it, and it will give you the answer because the calculator will do the correct order of operations. Number 7, it says simplify. Well, what you have to do here is you're just distributing, and then you can combine like terms. So I guess I can go and work this one out for you. You have 14n, 2 times 5 is 10m, and 2 times 3 is negative 6m. And you wind up, you can combine these two. So you wind up with 14n plus 4m. Number 8, simplify. So you're going to distribute on both sides, combine like terms, and you get 19a plus 11b. Number 9, you're going to solve for x, and you get x equals negative 3. Number 10, you're going to solve for h, and you're going to wind up with h equals 3 over 13. Number 11, you solve for n. Okay, remember this is 4 equals n plus 3. All right, subtract 3 on both sides. Your answer is n equals 1. Here you're going to add 12 to both sides, and you're going to get x equals 17. And on number 13, what do you do? Divide both sides by 6, and you get z equals negative 14. Number 14, you're going to solve for w. You get w equals 45. I did not like number 15. Scratch it out. I'm going to go on. Number 16, a equals negative 5. Number 17, r equals negative 13 over 15. Number 18, it says state the range of the relation. The range is just the y values. So the range would be, you can put them in order if you want to. It's 5, -1, 4, and then you don't repeat the 5. So you can say -1, 4, and 5. Okay. 19, it says, what is the inverse of the relation? Inverse means what? Opposite. So all you're doing is you're flipping the signs. So instead of a +3, we have a -3 and now a +1. Here we're going to have a -2, -5. Here we're going to have a +3 and a -4. And then here you're going to have a +2 and 0 does not have a positive or a negative. So you actually just flip the signs of each ordered pair. Number 20, it says, what is the domain of the relation? You're listing out each individual x value. So you have -4, -2, -1, 1, and 4. Okay, because your first dot has a value of -4, this one is at -2. These two have a x value of -1. Those have a +1, and then those have a 4. And that's how you get that. 21. Which is a true statement about the relation? So we're talking about this one right here. What's a true statement about it? The answer is the relation is not a function. Okay, the relation is not a function because x repeats. All right. 22, it says determine which relation is not a function. Well, functions, it either passes the vertical line test, is where x does not repeat. So the one that is not a function is going to be B. (23) Write an equation of the line that passes through each point with the given slope. Okay? So I'll go ahead and show you the work on this one, and then, like I said, I'll show you the work on all of them here in just a second. 23, what you have to do is you're trying to put in y equals mx plus b because it asks about slope, slope-intercept, okay? So you have to plug in your x and your y value. Well, your ordered pair was 5, -2. So you have to plug in a -2 for y. Your slope was 4. Your x value was 5. You solve for b. As soon as you get your b, you put it back in your formula, y equals 4x minus 22. Okay? So what I'm going to do is on all these next few problems, I'm going to write the equation, and then I'm going to show you my work on all of them. Are y'all good with that? Okay. So 23. Y equals 4x minus 22. 24 says determine which relation is a function. Well, that one's not a function. This is not a function, but this one is because x does not repeat. Write an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. Well, it gives you the y-intercept and the slope, so you're just going to write it out. Y equals -3/2 x minus 9. Write an equation of the line that passes through the pair of points. 26. So what you do is you first have to find slope, and then you're going to have to find your y-intercept. And the y-intercept's where x equals 0. So the answer you're going to come up with is y equals -2x minus 4. 27. Graph the equation using the x and y-intercept. So on this one, they're wanting you just to plug in, for the y-intercept, they want you to plug in 0 for x and figure out where your y-intercept is. And then for your x-intercept, they want you to plug in a 0 for y and figure out where your x-intercept is and then write it out. What is x? What is y? And the answer is C. Okay? Because look, your y-intercept is you plug in x, a 0 for x. So you would have 0 plus 3y equals 12. Divide by 3. Y equals 4. So your y was 4. And then to find the x-intercept, you would plug in a 0 for y. says graph the equation using the slope and the y-intercept. So it gives you the equation right here. Y'all, these numbers are kind of weird. The letters, sorry. They actually go up like that instead of having the letters at the top. So your answer actually right here is C. Write the point-slope form of an equation of a line that passes through the point with a given slope. I'm going to go ahead and work through this one with you. Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So here we have x1, y1, and there's our slope. Now it wants this written in point-slope formula. It does not want me to go any farther. It just wants me to leave it at point-slope. So I'm going to have y minus negative 2 equals negative 5/2 x minus 1. Well, if it wants a point-slope formula, the only thing you can do is simplify a minus a negative. Y plus 2 equals negative 5/2 x minus 1. And that's going to be the answer. Okay. On 30, they want it in standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. So what you have to do is you have to distribute this negative 2/5 to each of these. And I'll show you the work on that one. So let's star 30, and I'll make sure you see the work on that one. The answer comes out as 2x plus 5y equals 27. 31, it wants you in slope-intercept form again. So you're going to distribute, and you're going to move the 4 over. And you come up with y equals negative 2x plus 2. 32. We'll look at the work on 32 and 33. Because this one says parallel, and then this one says perpendicular. So the equation you're going to come up here is y equals 5/3 x plus 20 over 3. And 33 is going to be y equals 5/2 x minus 3/2. 34, when a system of linear equations has no solution, what do the graphs of the equation, or how do the graphs of the equation appear? Well, if there's no solution, they're parallel to each other. Okay, flip it over. I did say to mark off 36. 35, it asks, what is the solution? This is 1/3. Sorry, not 1/3, 1,3. I'll show you how I did that one here in a minute. But what I did is I used elimination. I multiplied that top equation by -4, used elimination, and solved. Some students wanted to solve for y and put it in their calculator. You can do that also. 37, it says, what is the first step? What is the first step to solving by elimination this system of equations? So you have this system of equations. It says multiply. Now we have to eliminate. So we're either going to eliminate the x or the y. Multiply the top equation by 2. Well, if you multiply the top equation by 2, that's giving you 12x plus 8y equals 2. And that's not going to eliminate either the x or the y, is it? Okay. B, multiply the bottom by 4. Well, then that gives you 12x minus 8. And that's still not going to do anything, is it? Because you have to have the same number, but you have to have one positive, one negative. So the actual answer is D. You're going to multiply the bottom equation by 2. That's going to give us a 6x and a negative 4y. Okay? And that way you could eliminate the y. What is the first step when solving by substitution? Substitution means you need to solve for a variable. Then you're going to take that whole expression and plug it into the equation. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to solve one of the equations for y. (39) What is the solution of the system of equations? And the actual solution is 1/2 and 2. And this one, it says the ordered pair, -1, -2. So you go over -1, -2. So there's my ordered pair. What is is the solution? What is the system of equations? So you're dealing with this line and this line. So what you have to do is you have to look real closely, y'all. This equation matches this line, This equation matches this line. This equation matches this line also. So what it's doing is telling you, number one, here's your slope-intercept form. There's your standard form of one line. And then here's the other equation. And so you have to find the system down here that has at least this one and then either one of those in it, and the answer would be D. Okay, so let me go through and let me show you the work. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it on the screen. And then when you need it, you can go back and you can look at it. Pause the video when you need to look at a problem. This is the one that you're filling in the variables to figure out what is less than or equal to 14. Number 6, it was order of operations, or you can put it into your calculator. I was just showing you the steps. 17 is one we did, or 7 is one we did, where you just have to distribute and combine like terms. 8 and 9, or 8 is the same thing. You have to distribute and combine like terms. And number 9, you have to move the variables to one side because you're solving for the variable. So always move your variable first, try to keep it positive, and then finish solving the problem. Is the same thing. You have to solve for h. So first you have to distribute the -3 to the h minus 6 and the 5 to the 2h plus 3. Then you're going to move your variable and then you'll solve and you get h 3 over 13. 11, 12, and 13 are just one-step equations. Number 14 is actually a two-step equation because you wind up with a negative variable. Number 15 or 16, you're solving for A. There you can't combine like terms. You can't distribute or combine like terms on either side, so you move your variable first and you solve for A. 17, you distribute, see if you can combine like terms, and then move your variable. Remember, pause the video if you need to stop and look at the work. All right, here we go. So on 23, this is the one that I was showing you a minute ago where you had to get the B and then you plugged it back into 4x minus 22. On number 26, it gives you two ordered pairs and it said write an equation of the line that passes through the ordered pairs or the pair of points. So here's my x1, y1, x2, y2. I put it in my slope-intercept formula and I got my slope was -2. So then I took my slope and I took my first ordered pair. I plugged it into y equals mx plus b. I got b equals -4. So then I plugged in my slope and my y-intercept. On 27, this was graphing the equation, use the x and y-intercept. I showed you a little bit of that. But to find the y-intercept, you plug in x for 0. And to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y. I'm showing you the point slope formula. I did that work for you on the other piece of paper though. 30 is one that I had starred. Okay, so 30 says write an equation in standard form. So what you do here is, here's your equation. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to distribute this -2/2 to the x and -2/2 to the -1. So you're going to wind up with y minus 5 equals -2/2 x plus 2/2. Add 5, add 5. Because remember, you're trying to get to a standard form with the x and y on one side and the, here, I guess I can write it right here. We're still trying to get to ax plus by equals c. Okay, so then what we're going to do is you now have y equals -2/2 x plus 5.4. And you got to get this x term to the other side, so we have to add 2/5 to both sides. 1 second. Okay, and then since you have a fraction, 2/5 x plus y equals 5.4, you have to get rid of that fraction. And so you have to multiply by the denominator because a cannot be negative and it cannot be a fraction. So if you multiply by 5, this is like multiplying 5 over 1. So your 5 cancels out and it gives you a 2x, and then 5 times y is 5y, and then 5 times 5.4 is 27, and that's how you get your answer. Okay? 31, write an equation in slope-intercept form. So it gave it to us in point-slope form. We're going to distribute our -2, and then we're going to move our -4 over because we're trying to get to the form y equals mx plus b. And once you move that 4 over, you get y equals -2x plus 2. This is the one that's parallel. So what you have to do is it gave you the ordered pairs. I guess I can write that down for you. So it gave us the ordered pair, -1 and 5, and y equals 5/3 x minus 2. And it asks for a line that is parallel, that goes through this point, but it's parallel to this line. So parallel means we use the same slope, okay? And I'm going to plug in this ordered pair to find b, and then I just use that same slope, 5/3 x, and I use my new b. On 33, it asks for a slope that's perpendicular, and this one is giving me the ordered pair -1, -4, and y equals -2/5 x plus 5. So this is my original right here. So what I'm going to do is perpendicular is opposite reciprocal. So this one is negative, so now it has to be positive, and you have to flip the numerator and the denominator, which gives you 5/2. So make sure you're multiplying the new slope with these ordered pairs to find your b, and then you use your opposite reciprocal slope and your new b. Bless you. 35 was system of equations, and I decided to multiply by 4, which gives you a -4 minus 8y and -28. And then, of course, I had the 4x minus 3y equals -5. I added those terms together. It eliminates this. -8 plus -3 is -11. -28 plus -5 is -33. And then we're going to divide by -11 on both sides, and y equals 3. I take that y and now I plug it into my original equation up here. And you have x plus 6 equals 7. Subtract 6 on both sides. X equals 1. And that's how I got the system of equations. And then the last one, 39. The original was 6x plus 3y equals 9. And 2x plus 4y equals 9. So what I decided to do is eliminate my x term. So I multiplied this entire bottom row by -3. So you wind up with -6x minus 12 equals 27. Then if you cover that up, it's just an addition problem. 6x plus -6, x is nothing. 3 plus -12 is -9y. 9 plus -27 is -18. Divide by -9, you get a y equals 2. Then you take that and fill it into an original equation, and you get your x is 1/2. Good luck tomorrow.